The Regret-Proof Life, a forward operating system for making bold, clear-eyed choices, full audiobook. Implement a future-proof decision-making framework that aligns your daily actions with your deepest values, ensuring you look back on your life with pride, not what-ifs, regardless of the outcome. Look at your life right now. Every single what-if haunting you, every sleepless night of second-guessing, every moment of envy looking at someone else's path, it all stems from one broken system. The way you make decisions is failing you. You are gathering endless opinions, drowning in pros and cons, waiting for a sign that never comes, and with every hesitant day, your future self is being betrayed. I'm here to end that. This is not a book about making right decisions. This is a manual for making your decisions. Decisions so aligned with your core that even if the outcome fails, you will stand by it without an ounce of shame. This is the engineering of a regret-proof life. A forward operating system for your mind. And it starts the moment you stop listening to the noise and start hearing your own voice. Pay close attention. We begin. Chapter 1. Stop treating your life like a committee meeting. You are not a democracy. Let me say that again, because your entire life of hesitation depends on you hearing it. You are not a democracy. Your life is not up for a vote. Your dreams are not a policy to be debated. Your deepest desires do not require a majority consensus. And yet, look at your behavior. Look at the last big decision you faced. The career move. The relationship leap. The financial risk. What did you do? You called a committee meeting. You assembled the board. Your anxious mother gets a seat. Your cynical friend from college gets a seat. Your jealous coworker, the one who gave up on their own dreams, gets a seat. You scroll through the curated highlight reels of strangers on social media and you give them a seat. You even let the ghost of your past failures, your old teachers, your ex-partners, all of them, you give them a seat at the table of your one and only life. And then you present your case. You lay your heart on the table and ask for notes. You ask for amendments. You ask for approval. This is not diligence. This is not being smart. This is cowardice masquerading as wisdom. It is a cowardly abdication of your sovereignty. You are begging for permission to live your own life. You are outsourcing your courage, and it is killing you from the inside out. Think about it. That job offer in a new city you were excited about. But you polled 15 people. Your uncle said the market was volatile. Your friend said the commute would be terrible. Your comfortable, settled colleague said it was too risky. And one by one, their doubts became your doubts. Their fears became your prison. The offer faded. The regret moved in. You let the committee dissuade you. Or that relationship. The person who lit you up, but didn't fit the ideal your friends had in your mind. You let them pick the potential partner apart. He's not ambitious enough. She's a little too quiet. And you, desperate for their validation, you betrayed your own heart to keep peace with the committee. You chose their comfort over your connection. And now you wonder why you feel lonely in a room full of people whose opinions you worship. Here is the brutal, liberating truth. The committee is not in the arena. They do not live with the consequences. You do. They will not lie awake at night with the ghost of the path not taken. You will. They will not feel the slow decay of a dream postponed. You will. They offer their opinions from the cheap seats, where it costs them nothing. No skin in the game. No emotional tax. They get to feel smart, cautious, or protective, and then they get to go home to their own lives, their own compromises. You are left to live inside the decision they talked you into. So we establish rule number 1. The only rule that matters until you master it. Advice is data, not a directive. Say it out loud. Advice is data, not a directive. Your mother's worry is data point about her psychology, not a command for your life. Your friend's cynicism is data point about his own disappointments, not a blueprint for your choices. That article you read, that podcast you heard, data, not a directive. You are the analyst. You are the sovereign. You gather the data from all sources, and then you retire to the quiet chamber of your own soul. You weigh it against your own values, your own vision, your own capacity for risk. And then you, alone, make the call. This is the birth of self-trust, not the feeling of confidence, the action of authority. You must become the final sign-off authority on your own existence, the CEO of you, Incorporated. There is no, let me get back to you. There is no, I'll see what they think. There is the gathering of intelligence, and then there is the decisive order. You give it to yourself. This is where your power returns. This is the moment your life stops being a reaction to the chorus and starts being a creation. It is terrifying, because it means the blame stops everywhere else and starts with you. But it also means the credit, the glory, the authentic pride, that also lands with you. It means when you succeed, you own it, not your committee. And when you fail, you own that too. You learn from it. You adjust, without the shame of having betrayed yourself to please a crowd that has already forgotten the topic of the vote. So here is your first action, the only one that matters today. I want you to mentally convene that board. See their faces around your table. And one by one, I want you to fire them. Thank your mother for her love, and revoke her voting rights. Acknowledge your friend's perspective, and strip him of his veto power. Clear the ghosts, the strangers, the voices of the culture out of the room. The room is quiet now. It's just you. The gavel is in your hand. The question is no longer, what does the committee think? The question is now, who is on my committee, and why do they still have a seat? You have a choice. You can keep running your life by committee, ensuring a life of mediocrity designed by consensus. Or you can reclaim your sovereignty. You can make your own choices and stand by them. That's the key. Stand by them. You don't need their permission. You never did. You've just cleared the room. You've taken back the table. Now, you need to know what to put on it. You need a filter for every decision that crosses it. That filter isn't made of opinions. It's made of something unshakable. It's made of your core values. Chapter 2. Your values are not platitudes. They are your only filter. You've cleared the committee. The room is quiet. Now you sit at the head of an empty table, and the silence is deafening. Because now you have to actually make the decision. Alone. And the question hits you, how? Without the committee's chatter, what is your guide? Your gut? That's fleeting. Your mood? That's unreliable. Your fear? That's a prison. You need something solid, immovable, a compass that doesn't waver when the storm hits. You need your values, but not the ones on the motivational poster, not the ones you list in a LinkedIn bio. I'm talking about your core values, the non-negotiable pillars of your being. Most people get this wrong. They choose values that sound good. Success, happiness, balance. These are vague destinations, not operating principles. They're platitudes. And a platitude makes for a useless filter. Your true values are not what you aspire to. They are what you have already bled for. They are revealed not in your triumphs, but in your suffering. In what you have historically endured pain to protect or to pursue. So we are going to move them from the abstract to the algorithm. We are going to turn something I believe in into the only code I run my decisions by. Here is your brutal, non-negotiable exercise. You will do it now, in your mind, as you listen. I want you to identify your top 3 core values. Just 3. not 10. 3. The ruthless prioritization is the point. To find them, ask this question: what principle, when violated, has caused me the most consistent and profound pain? Did you feel a slow-burning resentment in a job where you were micromanaged? That's not just a bad boss. That's your value of freedom or autonomy screaming. Did you feel soul-sick after telling a lie, even a small one, to keep the peace? That's not just guilt. That's your value of integrity demanding its due. Did you feel empty and stagnant in a relationship or role that offered comfort but zero challenge? That's your value of growth or expansion starving to death. Your pain is your compass. The areas where life has friction are not random. They are the universe sanding down the edges of a shape that doesn't fit your core. Stop trying to sand down your core. Define the shape. So name them. Right now. Value 1. Underscore. Value 2. Underscore. Value 3. Underscore. They are words like courage, truth, contribution, family, mastery, peace. But they are your words. Etch them into the table in front of you. Now, you have a filter. This is your binary decision test for every single choice that comes before you, from the monumental to the mundane. The question is never again, is this a good idea? The question is now, does this choice move me toward or away from my core value? Toward or away. That's it. There is no maybe. Let's apply it. In real time. Example 1. A financial decision. You're tempted by a flashy, expensive car lease. It's beyond your budget, but it would look the part. Committee says, treat yourself. You deserve it. Image is everything. You consult your filter. Your top value is freedom. You ask, does this monthly payment move me toward financial freedom and flexibility or away from it? It moves you away. It's debt. It's a chain. The decision is made. Not by austerity, but by allegiance. You walk away not feeling deprived, but empowered. You defended a pillar of your being. Example 2. A relationship. You have a friend who is a drain. Every conversation is a drama download. You leave them feeling exhausted and cynical. You've kept them around out of guilt, out of history. Committee says, but they need you. It's not their fault. You'd be a bad person. You consult your filter. Your top value is peace or positive energy. You ask, does maintaining this dynamic as it is move me toward inner peace or away from it? It moves you away. Dramatically. The decision is made. You may set a boundary. You may have a kind but firm conversation. You may distance yourself. You do it not from cruelty, but from fidelity to your own core. The filter does not make decisions easy. It makes them clear. It cuts through the noise of what will they think and lands you squarely in the realm of what does my code demand? When you are faced with a moral dilemma, a career crossroads, a family conflict, you don't spiral. You return to the filter. This is your new mantra, your repetitive anchor phrase. Say it with me. When in doubt, return to the filter. The filter is never wrong. It is never wrong because it is not judging the outcome. It is judging the alignment. You cannot control outcomes. You can only control your allegiance to your own principles. A choice aligned with your values is never a wrong choice, even if the world calls it a failure. A choice that betrays your values is always a wrong choice, even if the world calls it a success. The filter is your personal sovereignty in action. It is you, signing your own name to your life, in ink, based on a code you defined. The committee's opinions are now just background static. They can be heard, but they cannot override the central command. From this moment forward, every invitation, every contract, every conversation, every financial transaction, every hour you agree to spend. Run it through the filter. Toward or away. Your values are not nice ideas. They are your commanders. And you either obey them or you betray yourself. There is no middle ground. You have the filter. But a filter is useless if you wait for perfect conditions to use it. If you demand 100% certainty before you act, you will stand paralyzed before the filter forever. You must learn the most critical rule of engagement in a regret-proof life. Chapter 3. The 70% Rule. Why perfect information is a poison. You have the filter. You know your values. The committee is silent. And now you face the second great assassin of a regret-proof life, the quest for certainty. The desperate, clawing need to know, for sure, for absolute, for guaranteed, that this is the right choice before you make it. This is the paralysis paradox, and it is devouring your future. Listen closely. The quest for 100% certainty guarantees 100% regret. It is a mathematical certainty. Because while you are waiting for the final puzzle piece, for the divine sign, for the risk-free guarantee, the window of opportunity is slamming shut. Life is not a laboratory. It is a river. And you cannot step into the same river twice. Think about it. That career change you've been researching for 3 years. Reading every article. Taking every online assessment. Networking with people in the field, but never actually making the leap. You are waiting for the perfect moment, when the economy is ideal, when you have exactly enough saved, when you feel 100% ready. That moment will never come. The perfect moment is a myth sold to you to keep you docile and waiting. While you wait, your passion calcifies into a hobby. Your relevant skills get stale. Your window closes. The regret of what if becomes a permanent resident in your mind. Or the investment. The business idea. The creative project. You wait for all the data, for the market to be just so, for someone else to validate it first. You are waiting for a green light that is never going to flash. The universe does not give green lights. It gives terrain. And the only way to learn the terrain is to move across it. This is where most systems fail. They give you the filter, but they leave you stranded at the edge of the cliff, telling you to think it through. I am telling you to jump. But to jump with a principle. A rule. Introducing the only rule of intelligence you will ever need. The 70% Rule. Here is the doctrine, borrowed from the most decisive units on the planet. When you have approximately 70% of the information you feel you need, you have an obligation to commit. To decide. Irrevocably. The remaining 30%? You gather it en route. You adapt on the move. You correct course in real time. Sitting in the bunker, gathering that final 30%, is where missions fail and lives atrophy. Because that final 30% is often an illusion. It's the fear disguised as diligence. It's the committee whispering, just one more opinion. It's your own cowardice wearing a mask of intellect. The 70% Rule forces action. It recognizes that a good plan executed violently now is better than a perfect plan executed next week. Or never. You have 70% of the information on that job offer. You know the role, the salary, the culture fit with your values. The 30% you don't know is what a Tuesday afternoon in 2 years feels like. You will never know that until you are in it. Commit. You have 70% of the information on that person. You know their character, your compatibility, your shared values. The 30% you don't know is how you'll navigate a specific future crisis. You will never know that until you build a history together. Commit. Waiting for 100% is not wisdom. It is a pathology. It is the poison of maybe leaching into your bloodstream, paralyzing your will. It is you, choosing the certainty of your current misery over the uncertainty of a potential triumph. So you must adopt the mantra. Burn it into your neural pathways. Say it until it overrides your instinct to hesitate. Better a decisive wrong than an indefinite maybe. Let that sink in. A wrong decision can be corrected. You can pivot. You can apologize. You can sell the asset, leave the job, end the relationship. You learn, you adjust, you apply the lesson. A wrong decision is a tuition fee for the education of your life. But an indefinite maybe? That is a life sentence. It is a permanent state of failure. It is the purgatory where dreams go to be slowly strangled by someday. Indecision is not neutrality. Indecision is a choice. It is the choice to let the world decide for you. It is the most passive-aggressive form of self-betrayal. You have a choice. You can be the person who waits for the guarantee and dies with a clean and used map. Or you can be the person who commits at 70%, gets bloodied, gets lost, gets found, and dies with a map that's scribbled on, torn, and marked, "I was here." That's the key. I was here. The 70% rule is your engine of presence. It forces you into the arena, today. Not when you're ready. You will never be ready. You become ready by starting. So, the next decision you face, big or small, you will do this. You will consult your filter. Is it aligned? Good. You will ask, do I have 70% of what I need to know? If the answer is yes, you shut down the research. You stop polling. You silence the what-ifs. And you commit. You say yes or you say no with the full force of your being. You burn the ship on the shore so there is no going back. You gather the rest of your intelligence with your boots on the ground, in the field of your own life. You don't need their permission. You need your own commitment. Better a decisive wrong than an indefinite maybe. The filter is your compass. The 70% rule is your engine. Now, there is one final judge you must answer to. The only one whose verdict echoes for a lifetime. Chapter 4. Future you is the only judge that matters. You have a filter. You have the 70% rule. Now you face the final and most important question. Who are you making this decision for? Who is the ultimate audience for this choice you're about to make? If your answer is anyone other than the person you are destined to become, you have already lost. We live in a courtroom of the present. The gallery is packed. Your parents are there. Your friends. Your colleagues. Social media followers you've never met. The cultural voices shouting what you should want. They are all shouting verdicts. Approved. Disappointed. Shameful. Impressive. And you, like a defendant on trial, are twisting yourself into knots to appeal to them. To get a not guilty verdict from a jury that doesn't have to live with the sentence. This is a catastrophic error. The judgments of the present chorus are loud, but they are temporary. They are fleeting. They are based on the fashions of this moment, the insecurities of the people giving them, the narrow slice of reality they can see. Your boss's opinion will vanish when you change jobs. Your friend's jealousy will fade when their life changes. The trending sentiment of the crowd will reverse itself by next season. Building your life to please them is like building a mansion on a wave. It is an exercise in profound, soul-crushing futility. There is only one judge whose verdict echoes across the decades. Only one opinion that hardens into the bedrock of your identity. Future you. The you that is looking back on this moment from 5, 10, 40 years from now. That is the only judge that matters. And that judge is not swayed by trendy opinions. That judge cares about only two things, courage and alignment. We are going to meet that judge. Right now. I want you to close your eyes if you can, or just soften your gaze and follow me. Take a breath. And imagine walking into a quiet, sunlit room. It's peaceful. There's a chair there. And in it, sitting calmly, is your future self. The you at 80 years old. See them, not as a stranger, but as you. Look at their posture, the lines on their face, not just lines of age, but lines of expression. What life did they live to earn those eyes? Are they eyes of warmth and quiet pride, or eyes of resignation and gentle sorrow? Now, sit across from them. This is the most important meeting of your life. Look at future you, and ask them, what do you praise me for? What choices did I make from where I am sitting right now that you are grateful for? Listen, not with your ears, with your soul. Do they praise you for playing it safe? For staying small to avoid gossip? For choosing the respectable path that shriveled your spirit? Or do they praise you for the leap you took? For the truth you spoke when it was hard? For the love you chose despite the risk? For the times you chose your own filter over the crowd's noise? Now, ask the second question, the crucial one. What do you look back on, from where I am sitting right now, and shake your head at with gentle, profound disappointment? What makes future you's shoulders sink just a little? Is it the opportunities you didn't take because you were waiting for permission? The relationships you didn't fight for because you were afraid of looking foolish? The times you betrayed a core value to gain temporary approval from someone whose name you can't even remember? Feel that, the weight of that future disappointment. It is not angry. It is sad. It is the sorrow of potential unlived. That is the regret you are here to eliminate. Now, come back to this moment, to the decision in front of you, the job, the conversation, the risk. The voices of the present chorus are still shouting. But now you have heard the silent voice of the only judge that counts. And that voice changes everything. From this moment forward, every significant choice is filtered through one core question. You will repeat it until it becomes your instinct. The question is, Chapter 6, The Decision Sprint, Clarity in 10 minutes or less. Enough theory. Enough philosophy. This is where your regret-proof life meets the pavement. Because all the filters, all the future self-visualization, all the bold talk about killing the safe choice, it means nothing if it doesn't translate into a decisive action in the moment of uncertainty. And that moment is where you have historically frozen. You have turned decision-making into an archaeological dig. You keep brushing away layers, looking for one more artifact, one more piece of data, terrified of declaring the site complete. This ends now. You will no longer deliberate. You will sprint. Deliberation is the enemy. It is the space where the committee reforms. It is the breeding ground for fear. A sprint is a focused, violent burst of energy toward a finish line. You are not here to ponder the path. You are here to cross it. Now, I am giving you your sprinting protocol. A non-negotiable, 5-step script that takes you from paralyzing confusion to committed action in 10 minutes or less. It is called the Force Framework. You will not deviate from it. Ever. F is for filter. This is step 0 and step 1. You do not move a muscle until you name the core value at stake. Is this about your freedom? Your integrity? Your growth? Name it. Out loud. This decision is a test of my value of X. This immediately cuts through 90% of the noise. You are no longer deciding about a job. You are defending your growth. You are no longer deciding about a relationship. You are honoring your peace. O is for outcome. You will now define the 3 possible scenarios in 1 sentence each. Not a novel. A sentence. Best case, the wildly optimistic dream outcome. Worst case, the catastrophic fear your mind is clinging to. Realistic case, the most probable, grounded outcome based on the 70% of information you have. This takes the fantasy and the monster out of the shadows and puts them on the table. You see them for what they are, 2 extremes that are unlikely and 1 probable middle path. This drains the emotion from the void. R is for resources. What does this decision cost in time and energy? Not just money. Your two non-renewable currencies. If you take path A, how many hours per week does it claim for the next year? What emotional or mental energy drain does it include? Path B? Put a number on it. This makes the choice tangible. You are not choosing between abstractions. You are choosing between specific allocations of your life force. C is for commit. You have the data. You've consulted the filter, outlined the outcomes, calculated the cost. You now have your 70%. This is the point of no return. You invoke the 70% rule. You make the call. Yes or no. Commit. You say it out loud. I am committing to choice. This verbal act seals it. It moves it from your mind into the physical world through your voice. E is for execute. You do not wait for motivation. You do not start tomorrow. You take the first physical action within 1 minute of your commitment. This is non-negotiable. If you decided to change careers, the action is open browser, search for certification course, click enroll. If you decided to end a toxic dynamic, the action is open text message, type we need to talk, are you free Thursday? Hit send. The action must be so small it cannot be argued with, and so concrete it creates momentum. Execution is the antidote to regret. Let's sprint live. Right now. A listener's dilemma, should I move cities? We have 10 minutes. Go. Filter, this is about my value of growth and adventure. Staying is about comfort. Immediately, the true battle is clear. Growth versus comfort. Outcome. Best case, I thrive, build an amazing new network, land my dream job, and find a community I love. Worst case, I hate it, I'm lonely, I fail, I run out of money, and have to crawl back in shame. Realistic case, it's challenging for 6 months, I have moments of loneliness and doubt, but I adapt, find a decent job, learn incredible things about myself, and don't regret the attempt. Resources, time/energy cost of moving, 6 months of intense adjustment energy, savings for 3 months of rent. Cost of staying, 2 hours per day of mental energy spent on yearning and regret for the next several years. Commit, I have 70%. I am committing to move. Or, if the filter was peace and resources were too thin, I am committing to stay and cultivate growth here for 1 more year. The call is made. Execute. First physical action. Open Zillow, set filter to new city, save 3 apartments to favorites. Or, open calendar, block 2 hours this Saturday for city research and plan. Decision made. Path chosen. Momentum initiated. In under 10 minutes. This is your new law. The repetitive command that will break your paralysis. When stuck, sprint. Don't deliberate. Sprint through the force. Say it. When stuck, sprint. Don't deliberate. Sprint through the force. It's not about thinking your way out. It's about acting your way into clarity. The body leads, the mind follows. A sprint leaves no room for the committee. It honors the filter. It obeys the 70% rule. It builds self-trust through immediate action. You have a choice. You can let the next decision marinate for days, weeks, months, poisoning your present with its uncertainty. Or you can give yourself the gift of 10 minutes. You can sprint. You don't need their permission to act. You need a framework. Now you have it. But this decisive power comes with a warning. Every choice, every commitment, has a hidden ledger. A bill that comes due not in money, but in your emotional currency. And you've been taking out massive, high-interest loans. Chapter 7. Emotional Debt. The real cost of just this once. You are sprinting. You are using force. You are making decisions. But now, you must understand the currency. Because every choice you make is either a deposit or a withdrawal from your single most important account, your emotional capital. And for most of your life, you have been writing bad checks. You have been taking out massive, high-interest loans against your future sanity. You've been doing it with one simple, seductive phrase, just this once. I'll just this once stay late for the third time this week, even though I promised myself family time. I'll just this once swallow my opinion to avoid an argument. I'll just this once skip the workout, eat the junk, neglect the rest. I'll just this once stay in this conversation, this situation, this dynamic that drains me. Just this once is the lie that bankrupts souls. You think it's a small withdrawal, a minor compromise, a tiny betrayal of your own boundaries, your values, your filter. You think you can handle it. But you are not just spending the principal. You are taking out a loan with compound interest. And the interest rate on emotional debt is crippling. It is paid not in cash, but in your future vitality. Here is how the compounding works. You betray your value of health, just this once, today. The immediate cost is low, a bit of sluggishness. But the interest? That's the reinforced neural pathway that says, breaking promises to myself is okay. So you do it again next week. And again. The debt grows. The payment due? That's the low-grade anxiety about your body, the dwindling energy, the self-disgust that whispers when you look in the mirror a year from now. You are paying for that first, just this once, with chronic fatigue. You betray your value of respect, just this once, by letting someone speak to you with contempt. The immediate cost? You avoid a confrontation. The interest? You teach them it's acceptable, and you teach yourself you are not worthy of defense. The payment due? A relationship dynamic that erodes your self-worth, leading to depression and learned helplessness. Every just this once is a seed. And it doesn't grow into a flower. It grows into a weed with deep roots, choking the garden of your future peace. The bill always comes due. Future you is the one who must pay it, with the currency of depression, anxiety, resentment, and lost vitality. You are literally mortgaging your future happiness for present convenience. It is time for an audit. A brutal, honest audit of your emotional ledger. I want you to identify 3 current debts you are carrying. 3 areas where you feel a persistent, low-grade drain, anxiety, resentment, heaviness. Now, trace them back to the original, small compromise. Debt. The constant feeling of being overwhelmed and behind. Origin. The just this once times you said yes to a non-essential project to please a boss, or the just this once times you didn't block your calendar for deep work. You compromised your value of focus or peace. The interest has compounded into chronic stress. Debt. The simmering resentment in a personal relationship. Origin. The just this once times you didn't communicate a need or set a boundary. You compromised your value of honest connection or self-respect. The interest has compounded into cold distance and emotional withdrawal. Debt. The feeling of being a fraud or being stuck. Origin. The just this once times you chose the easy, familiar task over the challenging, growth-oriented one. You compromised your value of growth or mastery. The interest has compounded into imposter syndrome and stagnation. See the chain? The small, daily betrayals are the loans. The chronic emotional state is the interest payment. And you are paying it every single day through your mood, your energy, your joy. This leads to your new key phrase. Your mantra for financial responsibility in your inner world. You are either paying interest on past compromises or investing in future integrity. There is no neutral account. Every action, every microchoice is one or the other. There is no standing still. You are either digging yourself out of debt or digging deeper. You are either reinforcing a past betrayal or building future trust. Eating well today isn't just about nutrition. It's a payment against the debt of past neglect and an investment in tomorrow's energy. Setting a boundary today isn't just about this moment. It's a payment against the debt of past weakness and an investment in future self-respect. Choosing the hard, aligned task is an investment. Choosing the easy, misaligned shortcut is taking out a new loan. You have a choice. You can continue to live on emotional credit, wondering why you feel bankrupt despite external successes. Or you can start a strict austerity program for your soul. You can stop taking out new loans. You can start making furious payments on the old debt through aligned action, just this once refusal at a time. That's the key. Regret is the final notice on an unpaid emotional debt. A regret-proof life is one where you live debt-free, where your daily actions are investments, and your integrity earns compound interest. You don't need their permission to stop betraying yourself. You need the courage to forego the cheap loan of just this once for the lasting wealth of self-trust. Now, with this understanding, you need a new way to measure your progress. Not by outcomes, which are fickle, but by the only metric that tells you if you're rich or poor in the currency that matters. Chapter 8. The Unshakable Metric. Measuring your life in alignment, not outcomes. You are learning to act. You are learning to stop taking on emotional debt. Now, you must learn to measure. But you are measuring with the wrong ruler. You are measuring your worth, your progress, your very life, by a metric that is designed to enslave you. Outcomes. You believe the good decision is the one that works out. The right choice is the one that gets the reward. This is the logic of a slot machine, not a sovereign life. And it is the source of your deepest anxiety, because you have handed your self-esteem over to a universe of chaos you cannot control. It ends today. You must internalize this fundamental truth. You cannot control outcomes. You can only control alignment. Let's be extreme to make the point. If you buy a lottery ticket on a whim and win millions, was that a good decision? No. It was a random event. The decision was frivolous, misaligned with any value except luck. Conversely, if you make a thoughtful, researched investment in a business that reflects your values of creation and service, and a global pandemic shuts it down, was that a bad decision? No. The outcome was tragic, but the decision was aligned. The quality of a decision is judged at the moment it is made, based on the process and the principles behind it, not by the hurricane that hits 6 months later. When you tie your self-worth to outcomes, you make yourself a permanent hostage to fortune. You become superstitious. You start to believe that a good result validates your cowardice, and a bad result invalidates your courage. This is how people end up staying in miserable jobs because the paycheck is good, and abandoning their passions because the first attempt didn't work. Your new metric, your only metric, is alignment. Did you use your filter? Did you commit at 70%? Did you act for future you's respect? Did you sprint through force? Did you avoid a new emotional debt? If the answer is yes, the decision was a success. Period. Full stop. The universe's response is data for your next sprint, not a verdict on your character. To cement this, you will institute a new ritual. It replaces fruitless worry with empowered refinement. The post-decision review. It takes 5 minutes. Once a week. You do not ask, "Did it work? Did I get what I wanted? Are they happy with me?" You ask only these 2 questions. Did I act in alignment with my core values and my system? Review the filter, the 70% rule, the future you test. If I did, how can I strengthen that muscle? If I did not, what specific part of the system did I abandon, and why? This is not a journaling session. It's a tactical debrief. You are the operator reviewing the mission protocol. The outcome is the weather report for the day of the mission, noted, but not used to judge the operator's skill. You are judging the operator's adherence to procedure. Example, You asked for a raise, aligned with value, respect/abundance. You used force. You committed. You executed. They said no. Old metric. Failure. Shame. I shouldn't have asked. New metric. Success. You acted in alignment. The outcome is data. The audit. I used the system. My ask was aligned. Outcome. No. Data point. My current environment may not value this growth. Next aligned action. Do I cultivate new skills here, or do I sprint toward a new environment? This ritual transforms failure into feedback. It transforms luck into a detached observation. It makes you unstoppable because your worth is no longer on the line with every roll of the dice. This requires a new mantra. A sentence to repeat when the old world shouts that you failed, when the outcome is painful, when the committee gloats. Burn this into your mind. My metric is my alignment. My success is my self-trust. Everything else is weather. Say it. My metric is my alignment. My success is my self-trust. Everything else is weather. Outcomes are weather. They are external conditions. Sometimes sunny, sometimes stormy. You do not build your identity on the weather. You build a solid house, you learn to navigate in all conditions, and you measure yourself by the integrity of your structure and your skill at the helm. The storm is not a judgment. It's a condition. You have a choice. You can continue to let the shifting winds of results dictate your emotional state, swinging between arrogance and despair. Or you can plant your flag on the unshakable ground of your own aligned process. You can find peace in the effort, not the trophy. You don't need their permission to define your own success. You need the discipline to ignore the scoreboard and watch your own form. That's the key. True success is an internal signature on a life of aligned choices. With this internal metric secure, you can now lift your eyes from the daily scorecard to the ultimate horizon. To what you are building with all these aligned choices. To what will remain when all the weather has passed. Chapter 9. Reverse engineer your eulogy, not your resume. You have a new metric, alignment. Now, you need a new horizon. A target so fundamental, so true, that it makes every aligned choice snap into a meaningful constellation. You must stop building your life for a document that will be filed away and start building it for the story that will be told when you are gone. You are currently reverse engineering your resume. You are collecting lines, job titles, degrees, sales figures, followers, accomplishments that fit on LinkedIn. You are optimizing for the approval of strangers and the fleeting dopamine of external validation. This is a game with no winner, because the resume ends in the recycle bin. It is written in disappearing ink. Your eulogy is written in the permanent ink of human hearts. It is not a list of acquisitions. It is a story of character. It is the sum of the indelible marks you left on the people you loved, the community you shaped, and the personal battles you fought with courage. No one will stand up and say, he had a 780 credit score. They will say, he was a man we could trust. No one will say, she hit her Q4 KPIs. They will say, she made everyone around her feel seen and capable. You must now force every decision through the legacy lens. The question is no longer, does this advance my career? The question is now, does this choice add a line to my resume or a sentence to my eulogy? Let's dramatize this. Let's make it unbearably clear. Scenario: it's 7 p.m. You have a choice. Resume choice: stay at the office for 2 more hours to polish the deck for tomorrow's senior leadership meeting. Impress the VPs. Add a line: drove key initiative praised by executives. Eulogy choice: go home. Be fully present for your child's bedtime story. Listen to your partner's day without glancing at your phone. Add a sentence, "He was always there, truly there, when we needed him." Which choice will echo in a quiet room 50 years from now? The polished deck will be forgotten by next quarter. The feeling of being cherished in that child's heart, that becomes their character, that becomes their parenting, that ripples for generations. That is a sentence in your eulogy. The high-pay, high-prestige job that requires you to be a cutthroat, energy-drained shell of yourself? That's a bold line on a resume. The lower-profile role that allows you to be generous, patient, and creatively fulfilled? That's a paragraph in the story of your life. This is not an argument against ambition or success. It is an argument for redefining what success is. It is about directing your ambition toward what truly endures. You can build a monumental career and be the kind of person worthy of a beautiful eulogy, but only if you consciously choose the eulogy as your primary blueprint. The resume becomes a byproduct, not the goal. Here is the sobering reminder, the cold water to the face that clarifies everything. No one on their deathbed wishes they spent more time pleasing strangers on the internet. Let that settle. No one gasps their final breath thinking, "I should have posted more. I should have answered more emails. I should have gotten one more round of funding." The regrets are always about love not expressed, truth not spoken, adventures not taken, character compromised for convenience. These are eulogy regrets. These are the sentences left unwritten. Your legacy is built in 1,000 tiny moments of choice. The moment you choose patience over irritation, you write a sentence. The moment you choose honesty over politeness, you write a sentence. The moment you choose courage over comfort, you carve your name on a heart. You have a choice. You can spend your days managing your reputation, a flickering image on a screen. Or you can spend your days building your legacy, a permanent warmth in the memories of those you touch. You don't need their likes. You need to live a life worthy of their love and respect. That's the key. The resume is what you did. The eulogy is who you were. And in the end, only who you were matters. You now have the ultimate blueprint, your eulogy. You have the metric, alignment. You have the tools, the filter, the 70% rule, force. This is not a philosophy to admire. This is an operating system to install. It must run in the background of every single day. Chapter 10. Install the system, the daily protocol of a regret-proof mind. This is it. The final bridge between knowing and being. Everything you have learned, the filter, the committee, the 70% rule, future you, the sprint, the debt, the metric, the eulogy, is worthless as theory. It is only powerful as practice, as a daily ritual. It must move from your intellect to your instinct, from something you think about to the lens through which you see the world. That transition doesn't happen by accident. It happens by installation. You do not hope to be regret-proof. You practice being regret-proof. Every single day. You will now install the operating system. This is your daily protocol. It is non-negotiable. It takes less than 5 total minutes. But these 5 minutes are the keystone that holds the entire architecture of your new life in place. We begin each day with morning alignment, 3 minutes. This is not a meditation. This is a commander's briefing. You are not seeking peace. You are issuing orders to yourself. You do this before you check your phone, before you absorb the world's chaos. You claim the first 3 minutes for your sovereignty. Step 1. Review your core values. Say them out loud. My values are integrity, growth, and peace. Do not just think them. Voice them. This vocalizes your filter and makes it active for the day. Step 2. Visualize future you. Take 60 seconds. See that wiser, older version of you. Look into their eyes. Ask, What does the person I am becoming need me to do today? Not what your boss needs. Not what your inbox needs. What does your future self need? Receive that silent directive. Step 3. Identify one key decision and pre-commit. Scan the day ahead. Identify one upcoming moment where a choice will matter. A conversation, a financial choice, a time allocation. Name it. Then, pre-commit to your filter. Say, when I face that situation, I will choose based on my value of X. I commit now. This is a preemptive strike against the committee. You have already decided the principle. The circumstance merely gets to witness your fidelity. That's it. 3 minutes. You have oriented your moral compass. You have reported for duty to your future self. You have laid a trap for hesitation. The day now has a backbone. We end each day with the evening audit, 2 minutes. This is not journaling. This is not dwelling. This is a tactical debrief. Lights low. No screens. You ask only 2 questions. The first, where did I follow my system today? Find one specific instance. I used force to decline a meeting. I remembered future you when I chose to speak up. This is not self-congratulation. It is reinforcement. You are wiring the neural pathway that says, this system works. Use it again. The second question, where did I let the committee in? Be brutally fast. I hesitated on sending the proposal because I imagined their criticism. I said yes to a drain because I wanted to seem nice. No drama. No self-flagellation. Just identification. Atonement is not guilt. Atonement is a quick correction for tomorrow. I let the committee in on the proposal. Tomorrow, I commit at 70% and send it by 10 a.m. 2 minutes. You acknowledge the win. You note the leak in the hull. You patch it with a commitment. Then you sleep. Your subconscious now knows you are serious. It will begin working for you, not against you. This daily protocol, the 3-minute alignment, the 2-minute audit, is the heartbeat of your regret-proof life. It is the rhythmic practice of sovereignty. Without it, the best ideas fade. With it, even the smallest action becomes part of a grand, deliberate design. You are no longer reacting to the day. You are conducting it. You are no longer surprised by your weaknesses. You are auditing and correcting them. You are building self-trust not in giant leaps, but in this daily, relentless consistency. In the 3-minute morning and the 2-minute night. This is the final command. The installation command. This is no longer a book. This is your operating system. Your life is the application. The filter is your core code. The 70% rule is your processing speed. Future you is your user profile. Force is your execution command. The emotional debt ledger is your security software. Alignment is your success metric. The eulogy is your ultimate document. The daily protocol is the system update that keeps it all running, clean, and impervious to viruses of doubt and fear. You do not get to close this book and think, interesting concepts. You must close this book and run the program. On the hardware of your choices. In real time. With real consequences. So here is your final directive. The only one left. Run it. When you wake up tomorrow, groggy and tempted to reach for the phone, run the system. 3 minutes. Values. Future you. Pre-commitment. When you face a confusing choice at noon, run the system. Filter. 70%. Sprint. When you feel the old pull of the safe choice, the seductive whisper of just this once, run the system. Consult the eulogy. Check the emotional debt. When you lie down at night, the day's noise swirling, run the system. 2 minutes. Win noted. Committee spotted. Correction made. You have a choice. You can let this be another piece of information that fades into the background noise of your life. Or you can let it be the signal that changes the channel forever. You can install the system. You don't need their permission to live a life of alignment. You need your own discipline to execute it. That's the key. The final key. Execution. Run it. The regret-proof life is not a destination you arrive at. It is a system you run. Every single day. Starting now. The bridge is built. The path is clear. The tools are in your hands. Now, run it. So it's done. The committee is disbanded. The filter is installed. The 70% rule is law. Future you is sitting in the chair beside you, nodding. You now know that regret is not a function of failure. It is a function of cowardice, of not using the system that is now in your hands. You measure in alignment. You sprint through force. You pay down emotional debt with every bold, clear-eyed choice. From this moment forward, every what if is just a ghost of an old version of you. A version who didn't have this manual, who didn't have this system. That version is gone. The regret-proof version is here. And so my final challenge to you is this. Within the next 10 minutes, you will make one decision. Not tomorrow. Not after you've overthought it. It could be a text you need to send, a no you need to voice, a yes you've been withholding. Use the sprint. Consult the filter. Commit at 70%. And take the first physical action. Prove to yourself that the system is live. The life you will look back on with pride is built by the you who chooses, right now. Choose.